Welcome back to Wicked October. We're your hosts, Brian.
I'm Jenny, and previously we shared some stories of some unexplained urban legends like Mothman and the Dover Demon. Today we're looking at another bizarre tale from Massachusetts, the Gloucester Sea Serpent. The year is 1639. An English traveler named John Jocelyn sees an unusual beast off the coast of Cape Ann, and he later recorded his sightings in a book entitled An Account of Two Voyages to New England. And it says, quote, 1639, May. I killed within a stone's throw of our hoof. Brian, why are there so many F's in this?
Okay, so his books were in the public domain, which was great for researching this video because I could just take the quotes from the book, not have to pay for it. However, the typeset back then, the S's were this weird, like, long, squiggly character.
All right.
And when
like
I copied them...
Like a noodle boy.
Like a noodle boy. And when I copied it into Google Docs, it just was like, oh yeah, these are F's, obviously.
Well, interesting, but I'm going to pass this one on to you.
Fair enough. 1639, May. I killed within a stone's throw of our house above 80 snakes, some of them as big as the small of my leg, black of color and 3 yards long, with a sharp horn on the tip of their tails 2 inches in length.
Wait, isn't he British?
June the 6th. Very stormy, lightning, thunder. I heard now 2 of the greatest and fearfulest thunderclaps that ever were heard, I am confident. At this time, we had some neighboring gentlemen in our house who came to welcome me into the country, where, amongst a variety of discourse, they told me of a sea serpent, or snake, that laid coiled up like a cable upon a rock at Cape Ann. A boat passing by with English aboard and 2 Indians. Alright, sorry, just gonna jump right in here in my normal voice. Keep in mind, this was a book written in 1639 by a British dude. Anyways, he continues. They would have shot the serpent, but the Indians dissuaded them, saying that if it were not killed outright, they would all be in danger of their lives.
After these accounts, we would have a spike in sightings for nearly 2 centuries. Amos Story, a lighthouse keeper on 10-Pound Island, provided the best description of the sea creature. It was between the hours of 12 and 1 o'clock when I first saw him, and he continued in sight for an hour and a half. I was sitting on the shore and was about 20 rods, 330 feet, from him when he was nearest to me. Its head appeared shaped much like that of a sea turtle, and he carried his head from 10 to 12 inches above the surface of the water. His head at that distance appeared larger than the head of any dog I ever saw.
Story's wife, who was, quote, held in high esteem for her veracity, also saw the serpent that day, while looking out through her telescope.
What was she doing on the beach with her telescope?
Listen, when your husband's a lighthouse keeper, things get a little lonely. She's just looking for some sea snakes, alright?
Eventually things got so out of hand that a man named David Humphrey, who was an American Revolutionary War colonel and also an aide to George Washington, had to step in, investigate, and try to debunk what the heck was going on.
That honestly sounds like the coolest idea for a movie. I'm thinking like Tommy Lee Jones type. He's a grizzled Revolutionary War vet. He's far too old for this shit. He's sent to this small coastal town to debunk the sea serpent.
Gloucester by the sea.
Love it. So no one steal that. That is our idea that we took from history. October 1817 provided a break in the case when 2 young boys discovered a 3-foot-long snake with humps on its back. It was a baby sea serpent.
A baby serpent?
Yes, very cute. It was so definitive that the Linnean Society declared it as a new species called Sophilus atlanticus. The Philadelphia newspapers said, quote, "The evidence of the existence of the sea monster is conclusive and irresistible."
But they probably should have pumped the brakes. The celebrated French naturalist named Charles Alexandre Lesueur was brought in to examine the serpent, and he determined it was just a normal snake with tumors.
Oh.
Yeah, just one very, very sick snake.
The Linnean Society disbanded shortly after, I'm sure completely unrelated to this. Even with that being debunked, people were still seeing the sea creature, and they were determined to catch this thing, dead or alive. but probably dead.
Yeah, I mean, in 1817, there were countless locals who had claimed to see the serpent, kind of just chilling off the coast of Gloucester. And one man even claimed he fired and hit the serpent. But, like, I mean, come on, what is he going to say he missed?
No, any guy who's shooting off the shore into the ocean is not going to admit that he just completely missed. So lots of people are seeing the sea serpent, but nobody can really prove that it exists for sure. They don't have any hard evidence. They needed somebody with a boat, someone who could hunt this down.
Our next character in this story is Captain Richard Rich.
And his parents were just terrible at naming.
True, but what he lacked in creative parents, he made up for in gumption and also having a boat.
I just want a quick tangent. For the movie that we're definitely going to write based on this, we're probably going to combine Tommy Lee Jones' character of David Humphreys and Richard Rich, because Humphreys just kind of disappears for the story, which makes me seem like he wasn't really into this, which is very disappointing.
Yeah.
So I already cast him as Tommy Lee Jones, and Tommy Lee Jones wouldn't give up this easily.
It honestly flows a lot better.
So I was originally going to name this script Gloucester by the Sea, but if you pronounce Gloucester correctly, it doesn't really work. And if you don't pronounce it correctly, you will be exiled from Massachusetts.
Not okay. Anyways, Captain Rich and his crew set out to hunt the serpent, and they've been out there for a long time in the ocean, and they finally see the beast. They chase it down, and they eventually harpoon it. So now they're trying to reel in this giant beast. Once and for all, have the opportunity to determine that the sea creature is real. They fight this epic battle against the sea serpent to get it onto their boat, and they finally discover what the sea serpent is. And it's an Atlantic bluefin tuna.
Wow, that is disappointing. Delicious, of course, but very disappointing. What are your thoughts? Did this thing really exist? Because there were a lot of people saying that they saw it. Was this real?
I think they definitely saw something. I mean, there's so many claims out there. I'm rooting for the baby sea serpent, of course, minus the tumors. It would be cool if someone someday discovered this huge, intense beast that everyone saw.
Yeah, it's going to be us. Tommy Lee Jones, you're out. Brian, in. Go find this Gloucester Sea Serpent. As far as like urban legends around the ocean go, you have things like mermaids, which can be explained away by like horny seamen seeing manatees and their minds filling in the gaps. But then there's things like the Kraken, which when you hear about that, you're like, okay, that's just a tall tale. But then like the giant squid is a real life animal and was discovered. So, you know, maybe this is real. And that's why I thought it was a pretty compelling story.
And if you think that you have a theory to what the serpent actually is, let us know in the comments down below too. Until next time.
Have a wicked October.